Let's consider in this video a next generation firewall, or an NGFW, and let's begin by contrasting that with a traditional firewall. The first Cisco firewall that I ever worked with was an old Cisco PIX, a PIX firewall. That was back in the mid-1990s. And in that PIX firewall, I set up a bunch of rules. And those rules could interrogate layer 3 and layer 4 information. Layer 3 information, that's IP address information. Layer 4 information, that's where we specify things like, are we using maybe TCP or UDP? What port numbers are we using? And I could set up a rule something like this. I could say that traffic originating on the inside of the network, this was at a university where I was the network manager, I could say that secure web traffic originating on the inside of our network, the trusted network, it was allowed to go out to the internet, and the return traffic from that secure web server on the internet, it was allowed to come back into the university, back into the web browser that requested the page. Because the firewall had enough intelligence to know that this session coming in from the internet, from this secure web server, it was originated on the inside of the network. That's called a stateful firewall. We're allowing return traffic to come back in, and the rule said something like, we're going to permit that for TCP port 443, which is used by secure web traffic, HTTPS. But let's fast forward a few decades now, and we see an issue with that. Even though the firewall is permitting or denying specific secure web traffic, we don't really know what's in that web traffic. We're just allowing or not allowing TCP port 443. And if we're allowing that, who knows what's coming back in from the internet? Is it WebEx or Netflix or YouTube? Is it malware? Is it Dropbox? Is it a command and control server? So the big limitation of the traditional firewall was that it only looked at layer 3 and layer 4 information. The good news is a next generation firewall can look at layer 3 through 7 information. It has the ability to look inside of our TCP segment, for example, into those upper layers and determine what application is being carried by this TCP segment. And that gives it application awareness. And in our previous example, we had these 3 TCP port 443 streams, but we didn't know what was contained in those streams. Well, now with a next generation firewall, we can see what's in those streams. Maybe it's WebEx, YouTube, then we've got a malware command and control server. That's not good. So our next generation firewall can intelligently block that while allowing the WebEx and the YouTube traffic. And when we talk about a next generation firewall, it has more capabilities than just acting like a really intelligent firewall. It has other security capabilities built in as well, such as IPS, an intrusion prevention system. That is going to have a database of well-known attack patterns, and as traffic comes into this next generation firewall, if it recognizes that incoming traffic as a well-known attack, it can stop it in its tracks. It can also act as a VPN server that we can use to connect maybe back into our corporate headquarters. It might have anti-malware features built in, and we might have the ability to filter different URLs. So a next-generation firewall does more than just permit or deny traffic based on even layer 3 through 7 information. It has these other security features as well. And the new name that Cisco has for their firewall is the Cisco Secure Firewall. And this used to be called Firepower Next Generation Firewall, but now it's Cisco Secure Firewall. But even though the name has been changed from Firepower NGFW to Cisco Secure Firewall, that Firepower name still shows up because the software running on a modern Cisco Secure Firewall is called Firepower Threat Defense, or FTD. And on screen you can see a management console that we can use to manage multiple firewalls, and that's called the Secure Firewall Management Center, or FMC. If you're just managing a single firewall, you could use Firepower Device Manager, or FDM. And this Cisco Secure Firewall, it is a next generation firewall, so it goes beyond just having a set of firewall rules. It has other integrated services built in. It has secure IPS, malware defense, URL filtering, and VPN capabilities. And now that we've talked a lot about the theory of next-generation firewalls and Cisco Secure Firewall specifically, I wanted to give you a visual of what a typical Cisco Secure Firewall might look like. Here's one example. This is a Cisco 8121 G2MX next-generation firewall. And that's a look at next-generation firewalls, which, by the way, are sometimes referred to as Layer 7 firewalls.